The subject of today's videos is a Raptor fun to drive stock. I think it's a pretty obvious question and most people would be like, why would you even make that video? But when you're thinking about purchasing one of these trucks, you start to obsess over it and then you start to analyze, like, is it as fun as I think it would be? Are there any cons that come with the pros? And as somebody who has done everything to avoid getting anything with an Ecoboost in it for this long and then to feel the way I feel, I've done these types of videos for a lot of other platforms, sports cars, but I've never been so excited to make this specific video because of the way I feel after purchasing it. And Austin Daly's Raptor R, but he has had an Ecoboost as well, and what he has to say aligns with kind of how I feel. And when you start talking to other Raptor owners, they all feel the same. What kind of comes to mind is the only thing that stopped me from really getting excited about getting a Raptor all this time was the fact that it's a V6 and it sounds like a trumpet, like a 350Z a little bit. There's actually a lot of things that go through my mind that don't even pertain to that after owning it.
Some background, I've always had trucks, and I used to take a Chevy Silverado and go put kings on it and upper control arms and try to like pre-run it out an exhaust.
And we always loved the sound of all the Chevy trucks.
Yeah, but I bought a Raptor, and out the gate,
The Ecoboost.
the truck it's fun to whip around. The truck drives great. The 10-speed transmission, this truck's quick. I never felt underpowered in it. It's fun to drive. You can put it in sport mode and have the exhaust loud. And then if you have a long highway cruise, you can put it in quiet. Like, I really loved the way that you could toggle through the different exhausts. The truck was just great. And then I drove an R. And that is the first truck that ever sucks you back in your seat like a sports car. And that is the next level. However, there's some cons to that truck too. This truck is nimble and quick, and you can cut up traffic if that's your thing. The R drives a lot more like a boat. The power's there, like it'll suck you back in your seat, but it feels heavier, bigger, and like a boat. This truck doesn't feel that way. Or mine didn't. I didn't feel that way in my Ecoboost.
Yeah, just from riding in your truck, it does feel more like a boat. Because this is 450 horsepower, yours is 700.
720.
Whatever. You have so much pedal and it pulls so hard and the sound is so intense. You have this illusion, like you are going a lot faster, but it does cause it to be a little less reactive.
Oh, for sure.
And it just kind of, there's even more body roll, and then you have the 37s on top of it, you know, X, Y, Z.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't help that your bed's loaded down. Austin's is just going everywhere. You didn't have it fully built out when you had the Ecoboost, so it was lighter in the rear too.
No, but this video is about how the two trucks vary driving on the road. Just bottom line, if you're looking for the quick answer, this truck I think drives better daily. Number one, in my Raptor R, the first thing when I put new tires on it, I had speed wobbles really bad. And I thought maybe it was new tires. I ended up buying another pair of the stock tires, put it on the truck, and it still did it, and couldn't figure out as to why this was happening. And all the forums, nobody seems to quite have the answer for it. And if you hit the gas in my truck at 75, you floor it, not that you would ever go more than the speed limit, but if you floor it in that truck and it runs up to 100, that truck is swaying so bad that you have to let off the gas. You can't stay in it. You're like a Guggen going down the road, you know, like your highway pull, like the second you get up to speed, it starts doing this, and there's no fix for it. To my knowledge, nobody's been able to find a solution for it. Some people think it has to do with the suspension. You know, I upgraded the stock suspension, could not get rid of that issue. This truck drives very smooth. You don't have that problem. It's just something I live with the R.
I think the question being, is an Ecoboost Raptor fun to drive? I'd say the R is more fun to drive, but I think what you're really getting at is that this is more of a nimble handling vehicle though.
Yeah.
Like the R is more fun.
Yeah.
But it comes at a cost, and at a handling cost.
The R is more fun when you pull up to the red light and the guy in Ecoboost next to you is trying to race you. That's when the R is more fun. The other thing I noticed when I got in Cameron's truck right now is I looked over and he has a full tank and he's got 469 miles. I don't think I've ever seen 400 in my Raptor R. We got the same size tank.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing gets like average 15 and yours probably gets what, like 8 or 10?
8. I get 8.
8?
8.
Average?
Average 8.
That's basically like, so every $100 I spend, you're spending 200 to get the same distance.
Yep.
That's funny. But hey, if you got our money, you definitely got the gas money, so
Yeah, you don't buy the R concerned about gas prices.
Yeah, neither should you be buying an Ecoboost concerned about gas either. In the factory tuning of this platform, and why I'm learning to eat spark plugs, is because they get so aggressive with the torque tables tuning this truck. So you've got 2 turbos, a V6, and in a normal twin turbo V6 like sports car, you've got a good balance of torque and horsepower, but with these trucks, they just ramp up the torque, and it really does make the truck feel really light on its feet. So in terms of get up and go, I've been really enjoying it, and there's not a lot of lag at all, but the sound has always been the biggest hang up. And I'm curious if you feel the same way also, which I feel like you do from the comments you've made. When you're behind the wheel of, let's just say, a 350Z, the worst sounding V6 of all time, they are ear piercing, just disgusting cars to listen to from the outside. But when you're driving them, you're having a freaking ball. And it's not that terrible. Same with this, when I'm driving it and I floor it and I'm listening to the exhaust tone, at mid-range it kind of sounds like a GTR. There's no question about it. I can't even imagine if you open it up a little bit with downpipes and such, but the top end, when you're shifting and it's like, and it does that classic torque converter style transmission shift where it's really like bleeds into the next gear. At high RPMs from the outside, it sounds so gross and just kind of ugh. But from the inside around town, like we'll take off from the light, the truck sounds good. Like, it's fun to listen to. I don't hate it like I thought I would.
Yeah, I think that you can argue that this truck sounds terrible all you want. However, the performance, the driving of it, and the fun you have behind the wheel makes up for it all the way around. And I personally don't think they sound all that bad.
Like, listening to this, it doesn't really get old, and it sounds pretty good. And I would even argue from the outside, it sounds pretty good when the shifts are a little bit quicker. But when you do floor it, that's when I feel like you see the Instagram clips where you're scrolling, it's like really nice sounding V8, then you'll see like a really nice sounding 4-cylinder turbo, then you'll scroll and you're like, oh, there's a Raptor, and then it's some dude flooring it, and it's just doing the classic torque converter shift at the high RPMs, blending the 2 gears together, and it just sounds kind of gross at the top end. But the bottom to mid-range, when the transmission's shifting a little bit quicker, and what I'm really curious to see is when we tune the truck and you tune the transmission with it, does it increase the pressure it uses inside the solenoids and everything to shift gears? You increase the pressure so it shifts quicker with a torque converter style transmission, to nerd out for a second. I'm curious, at high RPMs, does it, instead of going and instead of that, does it go like almost like a dual clutch, like an Audi or Volkswagen, where it's like, or a supercar, it's kind of like more like notchy, like, you know, when you hit the paddles, it's kind of satisfying. In this truck, you shift with the paddles at the top of the RPM, it's a huge delay. But I feel like that's the only thing that makes these trucks sound really gross, is when they are shifting high in the RPMs, and everybody is gonna floor it for an Instagram post. So you just see these constant clips of Raptors kind of sounding like a trumpet, and I just feel like the time I spend behind the wheel, I don't really ever sit in that RPM range that sounds kind of bad. So I actually don't hate it at all. Obviously, if I do this, it's not terrible. Maybe from a light or from first to second.
It may not sound the best, but you will be smiling the whole time.
Yeah, you're moving. You're not really thinking about it.
No, you're having the truck is fun to drive.
And I think it sounds from factory so much better than I realized than a stock F-150 Ecoboost with like an aftermarket exhaust on it. Like, they've kind of figured out how to make it from factory sound pretty half decent with this exhaust setup with the valves and everything else like that. And then my dad had an Ecoboost F-150 before this, and like, he'd always talk about how it has great torque, but other than that, he doesn't like how it sounds. So I would write it in, and I don't like how it sounds either. And so I just had this constant reassurance of like, I'm not gonna like the Ecoboost. I'm not gonna like the Ecoboost because the sound. I'd rather just buy a Chevy and get a V8 or get a 5.0 and just get an F-150 instead of a Raptor, because I really don't want to get an Ecoboost.
I haven't driven an Ecoboost since mine. Oh yeah, see, like the sway and the body sway of your truck is way more nimble.
More responsive.
Way more responsive. And the steering wheel feeling. When I first got the truck, I actually thought something was wrong with it because you could feel a lot more of the road in the steering wheel. And that took a while to get used to. Like if you hit a bump on one side or uneven, you could feel it in the steering wheel a lot more than compared to the previous one. And I actually thought something was wrong with it.
Biggest takeaways after owning it is I don't hate the sound like I thought I would. I hate it sometimes, but I feel completely the opposite. Like I wouldn't have let this idea consume my mind after owning it. I wish I could go back and tell myself, hey, that sound thing you're worried about is just not even real. We haven't even modified it yet. I know once we get downpipes on it, it just opens up the sound in a different way, which I'm excited to touch on with you guys in another video. But that is out the window. That was almost like, I almost feel stupid that I fixated on that so much. And what kind of got me over the edge of getting into the platform was Austin's had one for a long time and I always enjoyed riding it and I liked it, but it was more if he started going on runs in the desert, and then my cousin got one, and then me and my other cousin were like, let's go buy him, and then there'll be 4 of us, then we bought him. So then we kind of all got into it just for the off-road capability. So then when I was thinking about getting a Raptor, I was like, well, before the going into the desert and going on Raptor runs was a subject, I was like, 1, the sound distracts me, then 2, I would never use that suspension daily driving it. And I think that'd be stupid to pay extra money for and not even use it if I'm not going to the desert on a regular basis. So I just always wrote off Raptors, like I'm not even interested, right? It's just a waste. Like there's so many other things you could put money into, you know, whether it's a sports car or your other truck or make it faster on the street, etc. But I find out after owning it that this suspension makes daily driving it so good. This is I counted on the way here to your house to pick you up. This is my 24th vehicle I've owned in my name.
That's crazy.
And 24 vehicles later, this is by far the best daily out of all of them, because the straight up comfort of the interior setup is amazing, but the suspension, daily driving a mid-travel style setup, going off of curbs that are like rounded, like in my neighborhood, it's just plush. Like I see a dip like in your neighborhood where there's like 80 of them, where like in my diesel before this I'd slow way down. Now I'm like speed up, oh, speed bump, rah, you know, this and that, and like any little bump, like this thing is just on a cloud. It does come at the cost of it kind of is a shoebox on the freeway, and the wind kind of throws it around, which is like the only con, but it's not anything bad enough to be annoying, and it still feels very like factory. So the sound not being what I thought it would be and actually enjoying it, and then factor in with the suspension actually just being the most plush experience ever, this is by far the best daily I've ever had. I don't know if you feel the same, but over the Chevys and everything.
Even aside from the R, I think it would be so hard to go back to a regular truck after a Raptor.
Almost impossible. And every dude that gets them buys just newer ones.
And if I had to go back to a regular F-150, I would be doing everything I could to make it more like a Raptor. The suspension, the drive modes, like I truly do think Ford has done a great job on these trucks as far as making it appeal to whatever type of driving you're into. There's plenty of these trucks that never see the dirt, but you know, the guys enjoy the different exhausts or different suspension settings, or being able to switch that dial to sport when they're feeling sporty, or you go on a long cruise and you switch it back to normal and put the exhaust on silent, and you can have phone calls. And like that was one thing that really bothered me in my Chevys or any other truck where you have an exhaust on it. It's all fun until you have a headache and you don't want to listen to that thing drone going down the highway.
Even my buddy Dan I was talking to, he had a 2021 or something, I think, and then he just bought a 2026 or 5. We were like, he's a sports car guy first, and we both agreed, we're like, this is the only truck that has all the frills and features of a sports car, but it's a truck. Us has got it in sport mode. It does shift faster in sports mode, like it's called line pressure. So I'm curious if the line pressure is increased in the aftermarket tuning for this transmission, because if this truck, the only thing I could think that would actually make it better, and it would be like almost unfair advantage, if this had like a dual clutch style transmission like an Audi or Volkswagen, where as soon as you shift it has the next gear ready and there's no delay. Like we just came to a stop and it just like kind of dropped it into first gear. Dual clutches don't really do that. And then when you're shifting with the paddles, it's just instant. The next gear is just there for you. And that would be the only thing I feel like that would make this truck just so unreasonably awesome.
And obviously, you know, 35s is gonna ride, be a little more agile than 37s, but that's also something to kind of consider.
Yeah, people do complain about the Ecoboost being a little more sluggish on 37s, but I see more people running 37s than the people whining about it.
Oh yeah.
So the consensus to me is that 37s are the move and they are worth the trade-off.
The
people whining are the ones that are just loud.
Yeah, the people whining about 37s are the guys with 35s waiting for tires to go bad so they can buy 37s.
So to be determined what this transmission is like, maybe I'll feel fine about it after it's tuned, but I'll find out. A lot of people don't talk about modifying these things. You know, they'll upgrade an intercooler to get your intake air temperatures down, but not a lot of people, in my opinion, are tuning them and talking about it, at least the people I've been around. And then if they do, they're like, oh yeah, it's way faster, and that's it. And I'm like, well, what is the transmission personality? What does it feel? Does it shift different? Does it have better, you know, this is a nice road. Yeah, this thing boogies. This thing rips. This thing would be faster than the Chevy, like, NAV.
Oh yeah, it's a quick truck. There's no doubt about it. I do really like the sound of this truck when it's real low RPMs.
Yeah, me too.
Like that little throaty, there's a little bit of throatiness to it.
Yeah,
like like that right there, I think is pretty good sounding truck. I haven't driven one of these trucks in a while.
It is a lot louder than I thought when you have it in the Baja mode for the exhaust, and then I think you had traction control off and everything.
Yeah, sport mode and Baja exhaust, and then I was manually downshifting as I
when
pulled
you were
up
like
to
halfway down, dude, that far it was very loud. I was like, dang.
It's hard to relay the driving experience difference between the two trucks, other than just it's easier to drive this truck. Like I turning around back there, this truck just feels easier to drive.
Yeah, it's just a more lightweight, nimble version, and plus I don't have the stuff in the bed. I don't have the 37s. That was another thing about this truck that I didn't realize till after I got it, is that this thing is wide. It's way wider than a normal F-150, more than what you would think. Like when you pull into a parking spot, I almost have to focus on getting the rear wheels where I want them, because you always end up like cockeyed because the thing is so wide. So I always have to like swing in super late, and it does have a really good turning radius, actually, more than I anticipated. So you really have to like swing wide, pull in straight, and I always make sure like, did I go deep enough to get the rear wheels to be able to straighten out, because you're always in between the lines like perfect. Like an Arizona parking spot, which is way wider than a California parking spot, specifically even Phoenix, they're very wide, and these things barely fit. So that is one thing I was kind of surprised, that it really is a lot wider than a factory or a regular F-150. But I think between the suspension feeling like a cloud, and then you have the ability to take it off-road, and then the bottom to mid-range sounding so good, all of that overrides any of the cons you see online. And that's why there's such a cult following around these trucks, and why dudes daily them, why there's so many that never see it. They're just like, we're hitting these huge diffs in Austin's neighborhood right now, and they don't feel like anything. We could probably hit them at 80 and they'd probably feel even smaller. So yeah, these things are just super fun to drive. I'm hooked. The only truck I'll probably ever buy after this is an R, and I just got to save up my piggy bank enough and I'll buy it. And then after that, it's like, what do you do?
Like and subscribe so we can get them there sooner.
Fun fact, 80% of people aren't subscribed watching this video, so the best free way you can support the channel is clicking subscribe. If you want to see a video of me and Austin going over his Raptor R and everything in it to make it Raptor Run ready, but then also be converted to a daily in 10 minutes, I'm gonna leave that video on the screen, as well as the next Raptor video. When that drops, it will be on the screen. If it's not out yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in.